Mark Sanger along with you here at the Mooresville Chamber's annual Luncheon and Events. It's a great place to be, over 500 different businesses here, and we're lucky to have Chris with us from Atrium Health. Chris, how are things going at Atrium?
Fantastic. Thanks, Mark.
You all have a lot going, and I know this industry, there's a lot of competition in that industry, isn't there?
Oh, absolutely. But competition is good because it really drives healthcare to the top of the market and really brings to the patients what they need. So we understand there's competition and we embrace it.
And Chris, just to make sure, folks that are watching this, is Atrium Health, give kind of a quick brush of all. I mean, you are covering every spectrum of everything when it comes to health, aren't you?
Absolutely. That's really our mission. When you look at health, hope, and healing for all, that's what Atrium Health is. And so our passion is how do we increase access to care, and really that care is primary care all the way to the top end of the highest acute level.
That's great. And then one thing's always on people's minds is, the way we pay for healthcare, the cost of healthcare, and what are some of the things that Atrium does in those areas? It's a lot of friends of mine over at Baptist Hospital, and they're always talking about, well, we will see anybody. It doesn't matter. If you're sick, you come see us. Tell us how that works out.
Well, one thing, when you think about for all, it really takes payers.
They want your photo.
Oh.
So much for that interview. Wow, Chris.
When you think about for all, it really doesn't include payers. I mean, it's not about us checking you at the door.
Yeah.
And what people don't understand is over $3 million a day is given away by Atrium Health in charitable care.
Yeah.
And that's really for at-risk patients and people who are underserved. And so we're pushing into food poverty and housing, and how can we really drive our patients to the right care access. And so we do have great facilities, but it's not about having patients travel to get care. It's really about bringing care to patients.
Right. And tell us about the footprint of Atrium. You all, I've heard your deal with Baptist. You're working on some things up there. What is your footprint now with Atrium? Where all are you?
Well, Atrium Health, we're very strong in the Carolinas, but we also are in Georgia, so North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia, and you're right, the work with the Baptist Health it's ongoing in our conversations. We're not near done yet with that, but when you look at the focus of Atrium Health, it really is about being access to care for all, and that really is everywhere. So our boundaries are big right now, and we continue to see opportunities.
That's great. And then, in this day and age, you see these big sport teams, they hire an analytic person to analyze all the data of everything that has to do with this. Tell us about the future with technology the way it is. What are you all doing from a technology standpoint, analytics? We know some folks that do, they map every person that's been sick to see if there's something environmentally, or if there's something to help in those areas. Tell us about that from an analytics standpoint. What does Atrium do?
Thanks, Mark. That's a great question. I think analytics and data is so important to care today, and it really, and also, but on the patient side of it, retail options for patients. So patients having access to care where they have their phone and they can drive to care close by. So analytics works for patients as well. But for us, it also goes to the outcomes. What are we driving as far as outcomes for the patients to make sure that their care is being delivered at the highest level? So it really is primary in what we're doing.
That's great.
Yeah.
Very good stuff.
Yeah.
I hate that Mark asked that good question. You understand that, don't you? But let me kind of change the subject just a little bit. I'm a small business guy. One of the things I've learned over the years, healthcare is a business. It's a unique business. Years ago, I used to have a buddy and myself. We had a delivery business, and we used to get upset when the clients would call us and be upset because we were 3 or 4 minutes late. And my buddy used to have this statement, and the statement was, "Relax, man. We're not delivering body parts." Where you are, right? And so your business is health. It is very unique. Can you talk about that? Because you kind of want to make sure that there's cash at the end of the day, but at the same time, it really is about lives.
It is, and we talk about the cost of healthcare, but really, as I was sharing with Mark, it really isn't about if patients can pay or will pay. It's about what are we delivering for our patients and how do we stay healthy together. And when you think about small businesses, that's a great question, because I think some of the small businesses, and especially we're at this chamber event today, really struggle with how do they give healthcare benefits to their employees and how do they deal with the cost of that. And Atrium Health is deeply partnering with business associations and small businesses to say, let us be the doorway to that for you. So I think we could talk about the business of healthcare for a long time. One of the aspects of it that I think is so important is it really is a consumer-driven model. And what we're passionate about is that when patients come in, they expect us to deliver the highest level care, but they also expect to have a great experience with that. And so we're really driving passionately to how do we welcome patients in and make sure that they're aware of their care, they're impacting their care themselves, and that the outcome is delivered efficiently. So all of that goes to, and it really is,
Right.
that's the business model that I get passionate about. Quality care driven efficiently and with a high patient experience. So for us, that sings about what Atrium Health is really trying to drive to.
And and I know you want to go because
Yeah.
you want to get in there. I do find it interesting that your emergency room, I liken it to a drive-through, right?
Yeah.
In a restaurant business, if we make a mistake, which by the way, about 30% of drive-through is a mistake, right? You have to have enough redundancies and enough backup that you cannot make a mistake. It is a very challenging business. Talk about the personnel requirements needed, and it does add cost.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, for us, our goal is zero harm. And we expect that when patients come in our doorway, that we're really driving care to be warranted for them. And that's what we're challenged about, is how do we take each patient experience individually and ensure that they're safe. So safety for our patients and our teammates is, it's really primary to us being successful with our patients. So.
One more last question.
Yes, sir.
How would you take a large organization like this and then merge it with a local chamber? How does that work for you? Because you don't need the local chamber. You choose to get involved in it. Can you talk a little bit about that? Or do you need them?
Well, I think absolutely we do. And I think it's very fluid how we work with each of the chambers. And it's really interesting that you asked that. When you look at all the small businesses here, that is such a vibrant part of our community. And Atrium Health and our competition and some of the larger industries in town are not really what keep Charlotte and Mecklenburg moving. It's really about these small businesses, and we've got to keep them vibrant and healthy. And so we truly value this partnership.
So I love hearing that Atrium does need the local chambers and the small business.
Absolutely.
We small business guys didn't know that. We like to hear that. Thank you for your time. We really appreciate it.
Thanks a lot. Really appreciate it. Yeah.
Thank
Thanks for
you.
what you do.